pickup and delivery isn't really laundry anymore. It's a logistics operation. And you both kind of touched on that a little, but if you could each kind of sort of explain further, like how you structure your logistics, because I think that can be overwhelming to people thinking they want to get into it. They don't know how to get started. And I think, Rob, you said you started in your own minivan at one point.
That's true. Yeah, that is absolutely true because we just kind of dabbled our toe in it and we didn't really know where it was going to go. And remember, I said you have to be prepared. Well, I met guys that wanted to get in the business. They ran out and bought a van, and then they waited for the business to come. Well, we didn't do that. We got the business, and then we figured out how to handle it. And I'm not embarrassed to say that it started out with my wife's minivan when we first started out, and then we added one van, and then two vans, and so on. There's a lot of different parts of logistics. Randy probably runs a lot more logistics than I do, but I'll just touch. First of all, it's quite an expense. Okay, I think people underestimate, Randy. I don't know if you agree or not, but the amount of money that it takes to invest in vehicles, whether you're going to buy them or lease them, maintain them, insure them, is a big issue now. Hiring and training drivers, it is a big commitment. Okay, so it's not something that you want to take lightly. But in our case, for example, on the commercial stuff, it was an absolute necessity. Our customers, I mean, here's the problem. Like we had a doctor's office once that we used to do a whole bunch of towels for them, and they decided that they wanted to save the money and bring it to us. We said, sure, if you want to bring it to us, we'll do it for whatever, a pound, we'll save you some money. And of course, guess what happened? They would always wait until Thursday at 4 o'clock at night and realize, oh my gosh, we don't have a single thing left in the closet. And then they would bring it to us at 5 o'clock that night and say, we got to have this back tomorrow. Okay, and we'd have to drop everything and rush and scramble to get all their stuff done because they were poor on their end at planning when they needed to have it taken care of. And this is what I tried to allude to a minute ago with the route model that we have. The benefit when you have a pickup and delivery is if you can plan it, if you know you're going to always pick up their stuff on Monday, and then at the end of Monday, once you pick up everybody's stuff, you know how much you need to get done and over how much time, and then you can plan your production accordingly to make sure that you take care of everybody. And the other benefit is if you have a route where you start to visit on a frequent basis, I don't know, Randy, if you agree or disagree, but what we found is that if you're there on a routine basis, guess what happens? You get more volume because you're there. You're there to pick it up. And it's very convenient. Hey, would you like us to take that and add that to the truck or whatever? So by virtue of having that route and having it planned out like that, it's going to help, I would argue, increase your volumes over time as well. So I would say in terms of advice is I would take baby steps before I would take big steps and kind of dip your toe in the water because it is a big financial commitment. And you need to make sure that once you have the business there, then it makes it a lot easier to justify going out and spending that money and all the rest of it as you get into it. But I do know some folks, they did it the opposite way. They went out and bought a van, and then they call me up and say, hey, Rob, I bought the van. I got everything. You said be prepared, and I'm just not getting the business. So I would get the business first and then add the vehicles as you needed them.
Good advice.
I think that's great advice. So I think build it and they will come is great when it works. It doesn't always work that way. So you see a lot of people that go out and make very significant investments counting on something, and the build is not something that happens quickly. It's something that happens over time, and it's a slow build. The build is never as quick as anybody I've talked to expected it to be. If you think it's going to take 3 weeks, it takes 3 months. If you think it's going to take 3 months, it takes 12 months. It takes time for these things to come together. And what I would say, and Rob, I think you would agree with this, automate everything that you can, meaning it is a logistics business. So the first right thing we did was select a point of sale system. And without that, what I will tell you is back of a napkin, scheduling in Excel, I'm not smart enough to be able to do that on a consistent basis, nor maybe regimented enough. Things would be forgotten. And in this space, customers, they don't remember the 99 things you do right. They remember the one thing that you did wrong. And that's how they choose to continue to do business with you or not. So with that being the case, everything you can automate, automate. We started in this, we had a point of sale system and a public laundromat. Tried to get people to help us with chemical injection for 2 years, could not get a return phone call from anyone. We now have chemical injection. That was a huge leap forward for us. You know, for towel service, we ended up making a very significant investment in a towel folder, in a small piece folder. Ours does shirts, pants, towels, linens. It can do all of those things. And so our product has now become more consistent as well. So that bodes very well in the commercial space. So when you look for where to start, I think automate everything you can. You know, we've been using AI to answer our phones for a while. Do I think that's the right move for somebody that's coming brand new into this? Probably not. I think you might want to get maybe a little bit of experience getting those phone calls, hearing what the trends are. But when you
Yeah.
get to a point, it can take and it can make your life a lot easier. So those are just a few examples. Again, I hope I'm staying in the lane of the
Yeah,
question.
no, it's good examples.
Well, even with a point of sale system, I mean, they're all pretty affordable now, but when we started the business 15 years ago, there just weren't really that many good options, especially geared just for laundries. And I kid you not, we started out the first couple of years with handwritten receipts and logbooks and all that kind of stuff because the technology didn't really exist. But also, again, you don't need to go out and buy a super fancy or sophisticated POS system until you get the business. And then when it's there and then you need to improve or enhance it, refine it, whatever, then you can always make, upgrade and make those upgrades. And you're right, those will help you with your productivity. But even like routing, okay, yeah, a lot of the software out there now does that. But you can go on Google Maps or there's different ones where you can type in all the destinations and it'll spit something out almost instantly. I don't know, maybe even AI can do that now and give you the most optimal route. But the hard part is making, I don't know about you, Randy, hard part for us is making sure that the driver always follows the route that they're given. But that's a separate discussion.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity for growth.
Yeah, there you go. Opportunity. I like that.
Well,
You and I get along just great.
so what I will tell you is we track that. So we have GPS on the vehicles, and we're working right now with some potential software enhancements that will give us kind of how long the route may have taken and how long it actually took.
Yeah.
So you can measure that and actually time between routes.
You
So-
can bet that Amazon and UPS and guys like that are doing that right now. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's a component that's highly undervalued because those vehicles are your most expensive asset. And I've said this before, if you do everything right and the driver does a donut in the parking lot, it's a bad customer experience. So the more you can control that piece of the delivery, in my opinion, the better the customer experience.